So this delivery of MyGinnieMae portal training for end users, again, is targeting our HECM issuers, and we will have a question and answer session at the end of this training. We're recording today's session so that any questions that you ask can be recorded for any other HECM issuers who might have the same questions that you do about your line of business that we may not explicitly cover in today's training. So we do invite you to ask questions at the end of today's session. So moving right along. Again, my name is Letitia Jefferson. I am the Customer Experience Group Lead at MyGinnieMae, and I am going to be here today to do an overview of what the portal is and why we're making the change. We'll talk a little bit about how it's changing and what your role is and the different roles in the portal. We are actually not going to be conducting a live demonstration. We do have a video for you of a live demonstration that was recorded previously. Sorry, we're going to scroll back a couple slides in our presentation. But we are going to be presenting for you a demonstration, although not live, of how to respond to a registration invitation and log into the portal. And what you're going to see when you get to my dashboard, which is the landing page in the portal, and how you access applications once you're in there. So we will have a demonstration for you today. And I have Wade Gale and Tawheed Ali from the Bank of New York Mellon here to assist with answering any questions and talking us through that. Then we're going to talk about, a few tips and self-help items where you can go to get some help. And also this really nifty thing called the Oracle Mobile Authenticator we'll touch on a little bit later on. We'll give you some resources, where to find the user manual, the recording and presentation for today. And then we'll launch into our question and answer session. Next slide.
Hey, Letitia, real quick. Do you want to try maybe using a different line or redialing in? Just a little bit choppy from your audio. And let me know if I'm choppy at all. I just want to make sure, could be Zoom, but I think your line was just a little bit cutting out here and there.
Okay. No, I can hear you clearly, so it must be me. For the folks that are on the line, can you please drop a note in the chat? Are you able to hear me okay? The bottom of your screen, there's a chat box. If you select that, you hear echoes. Okay, so some say I'm clear and some are hearing some echoes. All good, all good. Okay, loud and clear, a little choppy.
Could be me. I can try redialing as well. Everybody else says it's good, so let's proceed. And
yeah,
me and Renee will try again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing mostly clear. If you are getting some choppiness, I'll try and make sure that I keep my mouth close to the microphone on my computer. But if you're having some problems with the audio, you might want to disconnect and reconnect. But if I do start to break up or we're having some problems, don't hesitate to put a note in the chat box so I can monitor that. I certainly don't want to go on and you can't hear what's being said. Okay, guys? But I'm going to go ahead and proceed. If that's okay with you, Ian. Okay. So here we go. Okay, thanks, Ian. So what is MyGinnieMae? So for those who may not know, we have been working on releasing this portal for a few years now, and the day has finally come, and it's a very exciting day. MyGinnieMae is the brand new portal that houses the existing GinnieMae legacy systems and our modernized applications and resources that really kind of help boost efficiency for you, our business partners. The portal primarily is all about security. It provides enhanced security, and it also provides a single entry point to all of our systems. So you don't have multiple places to go to get into our systems now. So again, creating some efficiencies for our business partners and trying to work toward, it's the next step in working toward creating a seamless experience for you. So again, MyGinnieMae delivers security, which we must introduce in order to meet federal security requirements. and that hinder our legacy systems today. So that's what MyGinnieMae is. It is a portal that provides a seamless experience with greater security. Next slide. So just to give you a little visual about what that means. So for many of you, you already work in our legacy systems of GMAP 1.0, where you get to RFS and GinnieNet, you know, for those of you that do pooling and reporting with us. We all organized applications. Our multifamily issuers are already accessing the multifamily pool delivery module to do pooling for multifamily. We also have what's called an access management console, or AMC, which is a modernized application that our organization administrators, formerly known as security officers and enrollment administrators, use in order to onboard and manage end users at their organizations. So we have a combination of legacy systems and modernized applications that all now reside in the portal called MyGinnieMae. MyGinnieMae provides basically a really secure front door to all of those other systems and applications. So it doesn't replace anything. It provides the house or the frame with the extra security to our existing systems and our modernized applications. So that really secure front door employs what's called multi-factor authentication. And so what'll happen is you will use one username, which is your email address, and one password combined with a one-time PIN. And once you've successfully authenticated, you can get into the house called MyGinnieMae. And then you're able to navigate around the rooms inside of the house to get to the applications that you are supposed to be accessing. So again, you go in through the front door. And once you're in, you'll be able to get to GMAP 1.0. You'll be able to get to GinnieNet. If you are an organization administrator, you'll be able to get to the Access Management Console. And if you're a multifamily issuer, you'll be able to get to MFPDM. Now, you'll only see the rooms that you are supposed to access as a part of your business function. But the bottom line is, once you've entered your credentials at the front door, you don't need to then go in and unlock each room in order to do business. You've unlocked your access at the front, so you can get into all those applications once you're inside. And that's kind of a little bit of an explanation of what MyGinnieMae portal is. Next slide. So why are we making the change? I alluded to it a couple slides ago. It's really about security, guys. In order to meet current federal security requirements, GinnieMae is required to introduce this new portal. But there are some great benefits that come with this enhanced security and additional controls. Single sign-on, as I mentioned, means that you enter one username and password, and it gets you into all of the existing and modernized systems that you need to do business with GinnieMae. So no more multiple usernames and passwords. It also introduces multi-factor authentication. This is something that you've likely encountered in your regular lives and probably at work already as well. There is a PIN that is generated that you use every time you log into the portal. It's a new PIN every time you log in. You've probably seen this on your bank accounts. This is not a revolutionary idea. It's pretty common practice nowadays, but it is something that'll be new that you're not currently doing to get into our legacy systems. So again, you'll be entering your username, your password, and then a one-time PIN to log into the new portal. The new portal also introduces functional roles, and what this does is it allows us to provide you, the end user, access based on your business responsibilities. So when your admins provide you this functional role, as we continue to modernize and introduce new features and applications in the portal, there's no need for those admins to go in and provide you additional access every time we introduce a new application. Because your role is based on your business responsibility, when we add new applications to the portal, it'll be added to your role so that it's going for you and your organization administrators don't need to request that additional access for you. So again, it kind of changes the way that we provided access before, where we used to focus on knowing all of the different systems that a user needed access to. Now we focus more on what is your business responsibility and assign that access accordingly. If you have multiple responsibilities, maybe you do both pooling and reporting on behalf of your organization, those are two distinct functional roles in the portal, but you're allowed to have them both. The only restriction here is that a user should not have more access than is required by their business and their business responsibilities. However, if you do legitimately have those responsibilities in your organization, you are entitled to have both of those functional roles. There's also an invitation model. So a lot of the forms that, or not a lot of, but the forms that existed in Appendix 3-29 to provide system access to users will be going away. There is an automated invitation model that is managed through the portal in order to create user accounts and provide or remove access. So that audit trail and reports of that access are available via the portal, and thereby foregoes the need for many of those access forms. Accordingly, we will be updating the MBS guide shortly, and you'll see the updates to the MBS guide in that appendix soon. Next slide. So a little bit more about how it's changing. So our legacy systems, GinnieMae admins at the Bank of New York Mellon on behalf of GinnieMae provided access to each of the users. In our modernized environment, that is actually the organization administrators at each organization that are going to provide access. So again, no need to call GinnieMae customer support because it's your own organization administrators, formerly known as security officers and enrollment administrators, that create your accounts and provide you the access that you need. In our legacy environment, issuers provided system access to their subservicers. That's no longer the case. In our modernized environment, subservicers have their own organization IDs, their own organization administrators, and their own end users. And they provide the access that is required to their end users in order to conduct subservicer activities on behalf of the issuers they subservice for. So you no longer need to worry about providing access to your issuers users, users. In our legacy systems, you would go directly to each of those systems to log in. Now you go to MyGinnieMae to access our legacy systems. In our legacy environment, you needed a username and a password to get into the systems. That's true in MyGinnieMae as well, except you must also enter a one-time PIN in order to get in. So that is what we call multi-factor authentication. There are several credentials that you have to enter in order to access the portal. In our legacy environment, access was identified by the applications and the systems that you needed access to. And as I mentioned, in our modernized environment, your role and privileges are determined by your business function, and thereby you receive what's called a functional role. In our legacy systems, you had a separate username and password for each system. That is no longer the case. In MyGinnieMae, you have just one username and one password to get you into all of our systems. That username is your corporate email address and the password of your choice. And then I should also mention that regarding the username, it is also the same for your RSA token. So throughout the system, when it asks for a username, it will be your corporate email address. It is your new MyGinnieMae username that is being requested throughout the portal. So if you are an authorized signer with an RSA token, as you're navigating through the portal through using MyGinnieMae, if it does request your username, it is your MyGinnieMae username that you would enter as you're navigating. So just one username throughout the portal, whether you're using legacy systems or modernized applications. And then in our legacy systems, Password and user profile management activities were performed by GinnieMae admins at the Bank of New York. That's no longer the case. So now end users, you are able to do, to complete many of those functions using self-service features. If you have forgotten your password, you need to, reset your password or change your password. If you need to update your user profile, including your phone number or your business title, you can manage all of those activities on your own in MyGinnieMae. You do not need an administrator to assist you with any of those functions. You can complete them all on your own. And there are instructions in the MyGinnieMae Getting Started user manual that can walk you through those steps with screenshots. So a lot of things that you could not do before that you can actually complete on your own in our MyGinnieMae portal. Next slide. So a little bit more about the roles and responsibilities. I'm going to start in the middle with our organization administrators. So you heard me say that organization administrators were formerly known as security officers and enrollment administrators. And so there's something important to know here, which is that in our legacy systems, they did have some overarching responsibilities for users, but in our modernized portal of MyGinnieMae, they play a much larger role in providing you, the end user, access to the portal and managing your account. They have their organization administrator privileges allow them to create accounts, add functional roles, delete functional roles, lock and unlock accounts, reset passwords. There are a lot of functions that you may have called the GinnieMae customer support team to assist you with in the past that are actually managed by your organization administrators today. So that's your first line of defense as an end user. So end users, what does that mean? So an end user is any user of the portal that has a functional role to do business with GinnieMae. So an organization administrator is a privileged user that accesses the AMC or Access Management Console to manage end user accounts. That is not actually a functional role. It is a privileged role. And the functional roles are set up by business functions. And so if you are conducting business functions and need access to GinnieMae systems to do those functions, you are considered an end user. Now, an organization administrator can receive a functional role to do business as an end user in our systems, but the simple fact that they are an org admin does not provide them access to any business applications. So do understand that when we use the term end user, we're talking about anyone in the portal who is accessing business applications to do business with GinnieMae, which would include GinnieNet, GMAP 1.0, RFS, MFPDM, so on and so forth. And then finally, at the top are operations administrators. Those are the folks at the Bank of New York Mellon on behalf of GinnieMae that have general oversight for the portal and portal activities. They are not able and cannot make any changes to end user accounts for your organization. It is your organization administrator who manages end user accounts on behalf of your organization. Now, operations administrators are responsible for assigning the privileged role to organization administrators, but the operations administrator cannot manage end user functionality for any end users in your organization. So an important delineation there. While the operations administrators are able to, for the initial onboarding, set up your organization administrators and get them functioning in the portal, they're not able to do anything outside of assigning that privileged role. That if you need any end user functionality, if you need a password reset or any of those normal functions that users may need in order to do business, it is the organization administrator that is your first line of defense to make those things happen. So that's just a little bit about what's new in MyGinnieMae as a result of moving to this new platform. Your organization administrators have a lot more responsibility and ability to manage and navigate end user accounts. And so they will be your first line of defense. Okay, next slide. Again, a little bit about functional roles. So functional roles, as I mentioned, are set up to allow access based on your business function. This is just a snapshot of several functional roles that we have in the portal. You can see second from the bottom, there is a HECM functional role there. It's HECM compliance and oversight user. And anyone who's provided this functional role would, the assumption is that their role is to review portfolio servicing and investor reporting metrics and reports, and to also oversee sub-servicer performance when that's applicable. And if that is the extent of your responsibilities, this is the role that you would be provided. If you have other responsibilities, such as being a loan delivery and pooling user, a basic user, or maybe you're an authorized signer, maybe you're an investor reporting basic user or authorized signer, those functional roles would be signed separately. And so you really do need to align what your business responsibilities are with, and have that conversation with your organization administrators to make sure that you're being provided the access that you need in order to complete those functions. So again, I say if you have multiple responsibilities in your organization, it's fine for you to have multiple functional roles, but there is absolutely no one who should receive all functional roles available. The way that these functional roles have been drafted, there's no reason why anyone would need to receive every single functional role, and that's actually a red flag to our operations team. And chances are your account will not be approved if that happens. One of the reasons why is that if you happen to be an authorized signer, for example, all the functionality that you need to do business is incorporated into that role. All the basic user functionality is in that role, plus the additional responsibility of being a HUD 11702 signatory. So what that means is, if you're an authorized signer, there's no reason why you would need to be assigned the basic user functional role, because all of that functionality is already built into your functional role as an authorized signer. So again, that's why I say that there is no reason why anyone, any user in the portal would need to be assigned every functional role. So please do not ask your organization administrators to do that, because they do have a responsibility to make sure that users are only provided the access that they need to complete their business functions. If you'd like some more information about functional roles, we do have them posted on the modernization page of the GinnieMae website. It's also listed in the appendix of your Getting Started user manual, which again is posted on the modernization page of the GinnieMae website. And we'll direct you to those resources a little bit later on. Next slide. So here's a bit about the onboarding workflow. And I want you to understand that there are multiple requests and approval functions that happen in the portal to provide any one user access. So when you complete your registration invitation, please understand that it's not an immediate approval process for you to begin to access the portal. So as you can see, there are two workflows that together create the broader onboarding workflow. There's a registration workflow where if you see over on the left-hand side, there's a gray org admin number 1. That org admin sends an email invitation to an end user. That end user receives the email, selects the link and completes a registration form, and then submits that form for the blue org admin number 2 to either approve or reject. Once that is completed, an account is established for that user. We call that registration. But it doesn't end there, because registration simply creates an account. It does not give you access to any functional roles or business applications. So once your registration workflow has been complete, the organization administrator number 2 would proceed to request a functional role for that user. Once they've done so, it triggers an email notification to the other org admins, and then they would go in and approve or reject that functional role. Once the functional role has been approved for, or roles have been approved for that user, the operations administrator at the Bank of New York Mellon on behalf of GinnieMae has what's called final approval, or completes finalization. Once they have done that, the end user receives a welcome email and a notification of a functional role assignment. And at that point, the end user can go in, log into the portal with their username and the password that they created when they submitted their registration form. That combined with a one-time PIN will give them access to MyGinnieMae, and they should be able to go to the tools drop-down to access any business applications that align with the functional role that they have been assigned. So altogether, these steps are the onboarding workflow. And this is being presented to you just to give you a sense of all the steps and people that are involved in providing a user access to the portal. So again, you understand, if you are an end user, that this is not an instant process, and there are checks and balances built in to make sure that users are not being provided incorrect access to our systems. Now, the operations administrator does go through every day, every evening, and approve any access requests that are sitting there for their finalization. So there's not a long delay in providing you access, but I do, again, want you to know that it's not an instantaneous process. Next slide. Okay. So as again, I mentioned, we don't actually have a live demonstration, but we do have a video that we're going to show you where we demonstrate what you do in order to respond to a registration invitation once it's been sent. So the organization administrators in your organizations began receiving their account access last Monday. As they get set up, and and it does require that there are 2 organization administrators set up in your organization. But as they get set up with their own account access, they will then be able to begin sending registration invitation emails to you, the users. Some of your organizations have already started doing this. Some of them have not. But just know that one day soon, you are going to get an email invitation with a link in it for you to register for your own account. And the video that we're about to show you guides you through what you do once you receive that email invitation. Okay, Ian?
I just stopped sharing. If you're able to
Yep.
share your screen, you should be good to go.
I am. Okay, folks, so bear with us for just a couple minutes while we show you this video that walks you through how to register for an account in MyGinnieMae.
The user shall begin by navigating the registration invitation email that you see on this screen, which is from do-not-reply_access@ginniemay.gov. And in the message, there will be a registration link, as you can see. This will open up a web browser in a window and will take you to the new user registration form. Now, do note there are times when you are blocked from opening a browser. You will have to manually copy the link and paste it to your desired browser. So here we'll go to our browser and paste the URL. Okay, so now you guys can see the new user registration form, and there are several fields in this form will already be populated with information, as you can see, and it's grayed out. The user should double check this information to make sure that the name and the email address is correct, and if not, please notify the operations admin to resend a registration with the correct information. Now, here you will be able to enter your title. In this case, it's Mr., but you can change it to your preference. Then we enter our work number. You will then be able to enter your mobile phone number, which is optional. Then you enter your password, and you confirm your password. Now, please note, if you have a RSA token issued with GinnieMae Business System, you will want to select yes to the RSA token indicator and enter the token serial number in the corresponding field. If you do not have a token or access to the token serial number at the time, you can select no. And before moving on, you would then have to agree to the terms and condition and select the box and go over the rules and behaviors. And once you agree, you click yes and accept the privacy policy. And once you agree, you click yes. And once that's done and you're satisfied with the information you have on the screen, you can now go ahead and click finish. Now, to log into MyGinnieMae, please navigate on the URL, enter my.ginniemae.gov using the browser of your choice. Once you land on MyGinnieMae page, you will then enter your username and password. And this is the user email address and password that was established during the registration form we just seen. Here, once we click Login, you will land onto the multi-factor authentication page where you must enter your one-time PIN or OTP. Now, do note the first time you enter, your OTP will be sent to your email address. As you can see here, we do have a second option which says to enter through one-time PIN from Oracle Mobile Authenticator. This is when the user is registered.
Sorry, folks, we've got some internet connection issues here. Hold tight, and we're going to go ahead and proceed with the video.
Maybe try refreshing the page and going back to the 346 mark.
First time you enter, your OTP will be sent to your email address. As you can see here, we do have a second option which says to enter through one-time PIN from Oracle Mobile Authenticator. This is when the user is registered with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator application. So we will select 1. And once we select our desired method of our OTP delivery, we then enter our one-time PIN. Now do know, if you are not registered with OMA, you do have the option to register through the Oracle Mobile Authenticator instructions that you see here.
Okay, folks. Ian, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to you so you can pull up the presentation.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, presentation.
Yep. Can you go back one slide, Ian, please? Okay. So folks, we did just show you a video on how to complete that registration invitation. What I do want to mention is that once you've logged into the portal, when you go to the top of the screen where it says tools, that is where you go to access GinnieNet and GMAP. So we do have some folks that have been getting a little stuck once they get in the portal trying to find the business applications. So again, when you log in and you go to the top of the screen, there is an icon that says tools. We call that the tools drop-down menu. And when you select that, it opens up all of the applications that you have access to. And if you're looking for GinnieNet or you're looking for RFS applications, that is where you will find them, okay? So a few tips before you get started in the portal. The first one is, please do not bookmark the login page. The login page is where you enter your username and your password. There's actually a landing page. It's called the public landing page at my.ginniemae.gov. And when you start there, you select login and then you go to the login page. The reason why we don't want you bookmarking that login page is because it has caused navigational problems for users in the past. So it can cause the page not to load properly because of the cache and cookies. And so we don't want you bookmarking that page to help you avoid some of those problems. So if you bookmark my.ginniemae.gov, it does avoid many of those issues. And from there, you select login and you can enter your username and password on the next screen. But please do not bookmark the login page to help you avoid some navigational issues. The next one is MyGinnieMae is available. It's a web-based portal, and it is available using Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, or Firefox. But there are a couple things to note. Chrome is the preferred browser for accessing MyGinnieMae and its modernized applications, but there are some legacy functions which require the use of Internet Explorer in order for them to display properly. The bottom line is, if you're navigating the portal and it's legacy systems and things do not seem to be displaying accurately for you, we suggest you try changing the browser that you're using to see if that helps alleviate some of those issues. One of the known issues is the curtailment button. So, or if you're logging into MyGinnieMae using Chrome, Google Chrome, and then navigate to those legacy systems, some buttons like curtailment may not display properly. So it's kind of the beast that we live with while we're continuing to modernize. But as we pull things off of those legacy systems and build them in the modernized environment, those quirks and those issues will disappear. So it's today's issue, but know that we're working on it. We have a plan, and it won't be tomorrow's issue, okay? The other thing that I need to mention, and I cannot emphasize this enough times, your web browser's pop-up blocker must be disabled prior to accessing MyGinnieMae. So again, make sure that pop-up blockers are disabled in whatever web browser you are using, or you will not be able to navigate and log into and navigate the portal successfully. Please listen to what I say. Disable your web browser's pop-up blocker before you access MyGinnieMae, or you will not be able to successfully log in and navigate the portal. Okay, that is probably, if you call into GinnieMae customer support for assistance, that is one of the very first questions they're going to ask you. Please make sure you have disabled your web browser's pop-up blockers. Next slide. Okay, so again, a few things that you can do on your own versus your organization administrator. You are able to, if you have forgotten your password, there is a forgot password link on the login screen where you can reset your, recall your own password. If you need to reset your password, you're able to do that on your own. There is a federal security requirement that users change their password and log into the system every 90 days. You're able to change your password on your own using your My Profile. So do note that those are things that you can manage on your own. There is this nifty thing called the Oracle Mobile Authenticator that we have not talked about yet, but we will. And you're able to register and deregister with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator on your own and update your own account attributes like your phone number, your business title, so on and so forth. There are a few things that you might need the organization administrators at your organizations to assist you with. If you need, to request an account be created, if you need to request a functional role to be assigned, if you are finding that your account has been locked or disabled, those are all functions that you would need to contact your organization administrator to assist you with. But do note that in that far right column, the operations administrator at GinnieMae customer support can only do one thing for you, and that is final acknowledgement. That's once you have been assigned a functional role has been requested and approved for you by your organization administrators. The operations administrator does final acknowledgement of that request. That is the only activity that they are able to manage on your behalf as an end user. So please do know who your organization administrators are and how to reach them, because if you run into issues attempting to access the portal and with your account access, those are the folks that you're going to need to reach out to in order to make sure that you can get the assistance you need. Next slide. Okay, here's one of my favorites. This is about registering for the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. So as we mentioned, a one-time PIN is a series of numbers that is created every time you log into MyGinnieMae, okay? It allows you to access all of our multiple business applications by just entering your credentials at the front door of the portal. This OTP or one-time PIN is required each time you log in. Now there's two ways, as you know, as was discussed in the video, that you can receive that one-time PIN. The first way is via email. And the first time you log into MyGinnieMae, you will have to have that OTP delivered to your corporate email address. But many of you work for financial institutions that have strict security levels that actually delay the receipt of those emails. And that has been reported as a problem for some of our issuers. So what we did is we introduced a second method for being able to access that one-time PIN. And you can do that using an application on a smart device called the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. You can see the logo in the bottom right-hand section of the screen right now. Please make sure that when you go into your app store, whether you're using your phone or tablet, that you select the one that is the red square. There are several options, and we want to make sure that you're registering with the correct application. It is the red Oracle Mobile Authenticator. You can register with that application, and then have your an application on your phone generate a PIN every time you want to log into the portal. It does that every 30 seconds so that you can enter a PIN when you get there. Now, each time you log into MyGinnieMae, you do have the option of selecting to receive that OTP via email or via the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. So if you pick one, it's not that you have to use that every time you log in. You get to decide each time you log into the portal how you want to receive that OTP. But I can tell you that our users who have been in the portal for a while are loving the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. It is a much more efficient way of getting in that OTP and logging into the portal. So I do encourage you to register for the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. Now, do note that if you change smart devices, you must deregister your account and then re-register on the new smart device. That is a function that you can complete on your own as an end user, although your organization administrators are able to assist you if you require their assistance. So the instructions on how to register for the Oracle Mobile Authenticator are on the multi-factor authentication screen. So when you go to select whether you're going to receive an email delivery or an Oracle Mobile Authenticator delivery of the one-time PIN, on the left-hand side of the screen is where you would access those instructions for how to register with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. That was also demonstrated in the video that we showed you not too long ago. There's a quick reference card on the GinnieMae website on how to register with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. There's also a link in this presentation, which is posted on the GinnieMae website on how to get to that information, as well as in your Getting Started user manual. There are instructions on how to register with the Oracle Mobile Authenticator. So I do encourage you to do that once you've established your MyGinnieMae account. Next slide. So I'm actually a little bit tired of talking, and Wade Gale does a much better job with FAQs. So Wade, do you want to jump in here and share a little bit about frequently asked questions regarding navigating the portal?
Sure. Thank you very much, Letitia. I can. Okay, just some FAQs. I know these are questions that we do get. These are questions we're going to get as you get into that MyGinnieMae space. Can users continue to log into GMAP 1.0 and GenNet directly without going through the new portal? And of course, the answer is please don't. Once users have been onboarded in MyGinnieMae, you'll be able to securely access GMAP 1 and GenNet. That's the purpose of MyGinnieMae. Of course, earlier, Letitia talked about the entrance in the house, and in the house you go to in the separate areas that you are going to use. So that's what it is. You're going through MyGinnieMae, and then you're going to branch off if you're going into GenNet through single sign-on or GMAP 1 through single sign-on, and in that way you can access your RSA, not RSA, your RFS, your investor reporting processing, and of course if you do GenNet, you can go to GenNet. If you're a multifamily issuer and you do MFPDM, you have that MFPDM pools and loans on the dashboard there. So the easiest way is to go through MyGinnieMae to get all of this done. You don't have to. Once you go through GenNet or you go through GMEP, you're thinking about two passwords. You have to think about your GenNet password and your user ID, and the same thing for GMAP. When you're going through MyGinnieMae now, you're just one user ID, one password. That's your user ID, of course, is your email address, your work email address, and the password you selected. How long will the user have direct access to GMAP and GenNet? Right now, it's scheduled to be, it's about 90 days. After 90 days, direct access to legacy will be terminated 90 days after each onboarding. So I think from now, your scheduled time for wave 3 is 7/7/20, so around there. So we want to make sure you get all your get all your org admin in. We have sent out invites last week. We got some response, but there are some more out there that need to be sent into us, or we have to resend those invitations. So you want to get on board, and you also want to set up your end users. You want to give them the functional roles that they need so they can actually do their processing and then do everything through the MyGinnieMae space. So you want to check on that. Also, you want to make sure you go to GinnieMae website so you can see the complete target date in the release and training schedule. It does tell you there, so you can plan against that date also. Next slide. Oh, I just want to add 2 things to say. Letitia, it's all yours again. I hope you're rested and you're ready to go again.
Thank you. So I do have some questions that are starting to come in, and we will answer those when we get to the Q&A for everyone to partake. But there's a little bit of information that we want to provide you on where to go for additional help. So there are user guides, our user manuals, quick reference cards, training overviews like the one that we're sharing with you right now, the release and training schedule if you have questions about when the activities are happening for your organization, and additional training materials and recordings of every session, including this one, will be posted on the modernization page of the GinnieMae website. So if you go to GinnieMae.gov, you hover over issuers and drop down under issuer training, you're going to see the word modernization. When you select that, it opens up the page where there are options for different modernization efforts. The one on top is MyGinnieMae. If you select the plus sign, it opens up Pandora's box. There are tons of resources and information there available for you. Please use that. The user manual is actually a really good resource with step-by-step instructions and screenshots of most of the processes that you would need to complete. For those that are just getting started in the portal and just need general information about the portal and how to establish your account and manage that account, the MyGinnieMae Getting Started user manual is the place to go. If you have questions about how to utilize specific applications like the multifamily pool delivery module or the access management console, if you're an org admin, those user manuals are there as well. If you have technical questions about accessing the portal and using its applications, you're welcome to contact GinnieMae customer support. Please note the new phone number is 1-833-GNMA-HELP. That's 1-833-466-2435. Option 1 gets you to the Bank of New York Mellon for those technical, for that technical assistance. Or you can email them at GinnieMae1@bnymellon.com. Wade and his team are waiting on the edges of their seats for your questions, and they're happy to help support your needs. If you have general questions about the onboarding waves for MyGinnieMae, training, user materials, other general inquiries, please reach out to the Customer Experience Group team. That's my team at cxg@hud.gov, and we're happy to answer your questions there. Next slide. Okay. So what we're doing now is we are going to launch our survey. We do request that you provide us feedback on how today's session has gone and if there is additional items that you would like for us to cover in future trainings. Please open up your chat at the bottom of the screen. Ian has provided a link to our feedback survey for you to complete. The information that you provide us actually makes it all the way to the top of the chain at GinnieMae. We do share our training summary with our executives so that they're aware of the information that you're providing us, the feedback, I should say, that you're providing us. So do take the time to complete that feedback survey. Again, if you go to the bottom of your screen and select chat, there is a link in your chat box for how to complete that survey. So without further ado, we're going to open it up for our question and answer portion. We do have several experts on the line. Wade Gale, as I mentioned, Tawheed Ali, Vicky, are you on the line as well? Okay, I don't see, nope, I don't see Vicky. So Wade and Tawheed are available. I am also here to answer any questions for you. There's several ways you can participate in the Q&A. The first is if you go to the bottom of your screen, you are able to, if you join today's audio using your laptop, you are able to raise your hand to indicate that you have a question, so we can unmute your line and you can ask that question over your computer audio. If you join today's call using a phone line, you are able to actually hit *6 on your phone. And that indicates for us that you would like your line unmuted so that you can ask a question. So *6 if you join today's audio using a phone line. Or there's also a Q&A at the bottom of the page where you can type in a question if you would prefer to type your question and have us answer it that way. So while we're waiting on you to raise your hand or hit *6 on your phone, I'm going to go over a couple of questions that came in while we were going through today's training session. So I did have a user note that they've logged into the portal and they cannot see GinnieNet under the tools dropdown. This user did note that they are an organization administrator. And so here's what you need to know. If when you log in to MyGinnieMae and you go to the tools dropdown, if you do not see the applications that you need to conduct business functions, it means that you've not been provided, it likely means that you've not been provided the proper functional role. There are several reasons why that could have occurred, but all of them take you back to your organization administrators. So even organization administrators have to have 2 other organization administrators request and approve a functional role for them. So if you are a user, an end user, even an organization administrator attempting to operate as an end user, and you go to the tools drop down and do not see the applications that you need to access, you need to reach out to an org admin in your organization for assistance. Only your org admin can provide you access to GinnieMae business applications. The only modernized application that the operations admin at GinnieMae customer support can assist you with is if you are an organization administrator attempting to utilize the access management console. That is the only time that the operations administrator, Wade and his team, can assist you with accessing those systems. So again, if you are an end user who is logging in and not seeing the business applications that you need access to, you need to reach out to the organization administrators at your organization. So I have a Pamela, I've got your question about MFPDM, and you're wanting to know if we can show you the GinnieNet portal. GinnieNet doesn't change. There's absolutely no change to GinnieNet or GMEP because of the transition to MyGinnieMae. The only thing that changes is how you get there. So once you log into MyGinnieMae, you go to the tools dropdown, and that is where you will see GinnieNet. So GinnieNet, the legacy system, does not change. GMEP 1.0 and RFS, the legacy system, does not change. So you log into MyGinnieMae, go to the tools dropdown, and that is where you access those applications that remain unchanged. If you would like information on the new multifamily pool delivery module, there is a recording of a training from February 14th on our our modernization page that you can review. There's also a user manual for the multifamily pool delivery module posted on the modernization page. And we will be hosting an additional session of MFPDM training focusing on the multifamily pool delivery module in the near future. So stay tuned. We'll be publishing the date for that training very soon. We hope to be able to offer it sometime within the next 3 weeks. Okay, hopefully that answered your question, Pamela. If not, let me know. You can type that back into the chat if there's more that you would like to hear about that. So Ian, do we have any questions on the line?
No, but I was looking at my notes. I believe it's *9 to raise your hand. *6 is if you want to mute yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. *9, you guys. I apologize. So
yeah.
*9.
So, yeah, if you hear our voice, yeah, there we go. We got Robert Russin.
Okay, sorry guys. It's *9 from your phone line if you'd like to like for us to unmute your line to ask a question. Okay.
There you go. Robert's live.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you.
Just a question on an org admin that will have be a functional user as well. So if I understand correctly, we would be required to have 2 additional org admins to approve that. So, you know, in theory, we would need 3 then at minimum.
Correct. Yeah, you are a little faint, but I'm pretty sure I heard that question correctly. If you are an organization administrator and you need a functional role assigned to you to do business in GinnieMae systems, you do need 2 other organization administrators, one to request that functional role for you and one to approve that functional role for you. So if you are an organization that has org admins that also act as end users, the workflow will require that you have a minimum of 3 org admins.
Got it. Thank you. That answered my question.
Okay, perfect. Okay, is there another question on the line?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So I do have a couple of other, I do have someone else in here who is asking about the multifamily pool delivery module training or MFPDM training. Again, as I mentioned, we're working on scheduling another session here in the next couple weeks, but it is important that you know that in the meantime, for my multifamily issuers, we are not removing your access to GinnieNet. So if as you are getting ramped up and prepared to pool through MFPDM, you do still have access to GinnieNet for pooling purposes. So I don't want there to be, you know, concern and pandemonium around the switch to MFPDM. You do still have access to GinnieNet. Now, trust me when I say, once you have used MFPDM, you're not going to want to go back. It is a much friendlier application to use for pooling. It gives you better insight into the status of your pools. It definitely, we've received tons of positive feedback, and we've done a lot of business through MFPDM since we launched it last year. You are gonna wanna use MFPDM. And so in the meantime, you do have a recording of a training, a live demonstration of that pool delivery module posted on the GinnieMae website. Under training recordings, so it's on the modernization page under training recordings. There is a user manual, and there will be another delivery of that training in the next 3 weeks. Okay. So, any other questions on the line?
Nope, nothing right now.
Wade, is there anything else that you would like to share with our attendees today?
Just if most of the attendees are from the HECM program, just to let you know that we did send out registration invite last week to the designated org admins. We did get back a couple, but there are a couple that we did not receive. So most likely this week we will be sending those invites all over again, because the ones that you got last week have actually expired. They're only good for 24 hours. And if we're sending invites to the wrong people, or there are people out there that we should have been sending invites to, so they can also be org admins, just get in touch with us. Just let us know. You can call us on the 800 number, which is at 1-833-466-2435, or you can send us an email at GinnieMae1, that's GINNIEMAE1 at bnymellon.com. Thank you, Letitia.
No, thank you, Wade. That was actually a really important item to highlight. So hopefully you guys were listening. As Wade said, when you have a registration invitation email sent to you, know that the link in that email is only good for 24 hours. If you do not respond within 24 hours of receiving that email, you're going to need to reach out to your administrator to have another email invitation sent to you. So that's a very important point that I don't think I highlighted. So thank you for mentioning that, Wade. So 24 hours is your time frame for responding to an email invitation once it is sent. If you happen to be out of the office or otherwise occupied, you do need to reach out to an administrator. If you're an org admin, you'll need to reach out to an operations administrator at the GinnieMae customer support. So you'll need to reach out to Wade and his team to have another invitation sent. If you are an end user, you'll need to reach out to your own organization administrators to have another invitation sent. Again, those email links are only good for 24 hours. So I do want to direct folks before you jump off the line to your chat box. Ian has posted, and Ian, can you post that one more time? Ian's posted a link to the survey. Please do take the time. We do take your feedback very seriously. Please do take the time to provide us some feedback about this session or any future training you're interested in seeing GinnieMae offer on MyGinnieMae or any other topics that we can assist you with. Okay. So one last call. Are there any other questions on the line?
Nope, nothing else.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Hopefully you found this session helpful, and we'll be looking forward to getting your feedback in that feedback survey. Be well, stay safe, and have a great day.
Thank you.